Hi everybody, Minus here from Pantheon Plus, and tonight we're going to break into talking about the races of Pantheon. Probably going to be pretty short videos. We're going to talk about a few different things here. So we're going to go through a format here for all of these videos, so you can comment along or tell us what you think or where we're wrong. But we're basically going to introduce the race briefly. We're going to talk about what the alignment looks like. We're going to talk about the available classes, where me and Hayah think that that's correct or wrong. And then we're going to kind of point, that's what we get out at. And then we're going to point to other MMOs and kind of say, like, this is relatable to this class, or is if we think it's going to be close to something. And we're going to talk not only when we talk about the classes, we're going to talk about where we think the overload of classes are going to be. Like, what are mainly these races going to be when we see them? And then we're going to rate the race on a scale of 1 to 10, and it's going to basically just be our opinion. It's going to be things like, do we like it? What don't we like about it? Would we play it? And kind of give it an overall score, 1 out of 10. And then when we wrap this all up, we'll kind of be able to rate them all down. So long intro there, but you guys now know what is going on. There will be no secrets. So Hayah, welcome.
Full disclosure. Hey, how you doing?
Good. All right, so Hayah, we decided we're going to go with Ogres first. They are the biggest race by far, it looks like. There are a couple that are a little smidgen down, so pretty big, mean. They're not very pretty at all.
They're beautiful creatures. Come on. Nah.
So alignment. Let's talk a little bit about the alignment on them. I mean, it looks like they're going to be an evil race, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, evil in the on the scale of RPG good and evil. They're probably just a leave us alone, we'll leave you alone kind of thing, I would say.
Yeah, I see them probably not being able to go to a majority of the towns that are, you know, your basic loyal races of each other. So I think they'll kind of be an outlier. Maybe friendly with the Scar and the Dark Mirror.
Maybe.
So available classes for the Ogre. They get to be Dire Lords, Druids, Shaman, and Warrior. Very odd mix for me. When I look at an Ogre, I look at it as like a brute. And that Druid and Shaman to me are very strange. It's almost like they took what we know of Ogre in many games and they made it more attuned to nature in a sense. Is that where your head's at? Like, what are you thinking about?
I see it like along the lines of casters are either int or whiz, right? Druids druids. Ogres might not be smart intelligence, but they're smart wisdom. Like they know the earth, they know the land, they know the stuff, and that's why Druid and Shaman make sense to me.
Yeah, Druid and Shaman both seem like a wisdom heavier class for sure. When you're comparing it to Summoner, Enchanter, Wizard, the wisdom, like the know of the land and being able to kind of sense the world around you. The Ogres for me feel so jumping into, so what do you think will be? They don't have many classes. So, where do you think you're going to see a majority of Ogres? Out of those 4.
Dire Lord and Warrior.
Yeah. I definitely feel that way.
People, not everyone, but a lot of people who want to play tanks are going to say, I'm going to pick the biggest, meanest looking fridge of a character and be a tank. Like, it just works.
Yeah. And I think this may be the least played female class.
Probably.
Race.
Yeah.
Keep the up
because what we've seen of Ogres in other video games is either you play it because you think it's funny that you're disgustingly hideous, or
when you play something because you think it's funny, it doesn't always last very long. Like, it never ends up being your main. You'll jump on it, you'll be the one dancing in town, like, ew, like your character. It's like trolls in EverQuest having like the boils on them.
Yep.
So I do agree with you. I think the strength classes are very likely. Like you said, the Warrior, and I think you'll see a ton of Dire Lords. I think Ogre, Dire Lord, and Ogre Warrior, like you said, are going to be pretty huge. But the definitely the Dire Lord. Because, you know, this is going to make people mad. There's a lot of people that just want that edge. I play an evil character, and I'm going to play...
Yes,
I'm not just playing an evil character, I'm an evil class, and I'm
an evil soul.
I'm just so evil. So that's why I'm not a huge fan. So as far as... It is a little different. I think having that lay of the land... what would you... Is there any games that come to mind where you relate this ogre to? Because right away, I really relate it to World of Warcraft orcs in a very big way.
Yeah, in that very tribal, big warrior style. Yeah, that kind of culture.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's and I know that there are going to be orcs in the game, but the ogres aren't... Like, if you look at their faces, they are a little more orc-like than like a big mongoloid, race. So they feel a little more live on the land, thrall version of orcs to me. So
yes, do agree.
Okay, so that's it's a quick rundown. That's the classes they'll be able to play, what we think you're going to see, sort of a little bit about them, tiny bit. The last thing we're going to do here is rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, this is not a defined 1 to 10. You can talk about whatever pieces of it that you would like to. So, do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
No, you go first, because I'm unoriginal.
All right, so there's a lot of things that are important to me in selecting a race. One, I want to be able to traverse most of the world without concern. Call it wanting it a little easier. I'm not into... I played an Ixar monk, and I think I got my fill of being kill on sight forever, playing an Ixar monk, because everybody wanted to kill you. On top of that, I do not like bulbously huge races. Things like camera angles or going in a hallway and you're blocking view, just things like that I don't like. I know that you may not agree with this, and a lot of people may not. I'd rather be super small than super big at any time. I don't like... So in a lot of games I play females. I don't know that I'm going to be playing a female in Pantheon, but in a lot of games I play females. There is no chance in hell I'm playing an ugly race female. If I played one, it would be male, and I think my odds of ever playing an ogre ever are slim to none. I do not think I'd ever play it. When I look across all the races of Pantheon, this is by far my least favorite. I will never have one. So, I mean, I don't want to give it a 0 because it's nice for the lore and there's certain things about it, and the class selection fits it okay. So probably the lowest rating I'll give anything, I'll give it a 3 and say that's being generous.
Generous 3? I was expecting you to say like 0.5. Can we do decimals? Is that a thing?
Sure.
No, I actually agree with you with most of it. Maybe not as strongly on some of the stuff. If I was going to play a tank, I would consider it, definitely. Just because of like what I said earlier. It's the big brute. It's ultimate tank.
And we know you hate paladins, so that's not a problem.
Yeah, and so that's off the table. Not an issue there. I agree a lot with what you said about size of character versus environment, where you're getting stuck on doors, or if you're, camera angles can be very bad if you're a tall class. And yeah, no one would play an ogre female. So as my number, I would give it, I would say 3 or 4, let's say, if we're being super generous.
Yeah, you figured you'd be a little nicer than me. You'd have to go at least 3.5. Or I'll have to drop my score.
I do like their lore and that tribal race thing that they have going on.
Yeah, and if they're going to be an evil race and they're going to be an enemy to something I make, it's an imposing enemy. So that's why I give them a little more credit. Like, it's a good enemy. So, okay. Hayah, anything else about the race here before we wrap up?
I really can't unsee the orc in them now that you brought it up.
Right?
I really can't unsee it with the teeth and
Yeah, I mean, if you would just look at their neck up or shoulders up, maybe it's very...
Dye them green and you're done.
Yeah, right. There's a video link here at the bottom. Go ahead and click that if you want to listen to the lore from Chris Kane. Really good stuff. It's the only way I really consume any lore in this game. And check back with us next week. We're going to go through these races pretty quick. But the whole point of these videos is not just us to talk about what we want to do. We want to see what you think in the comments, so you know the structure here.
Feedback us.
Yeah, you play along. You know, talk about what you like about them, what the classes, what you think of the classes, what class you think will be overloaded, what MMO reminds you most of this race, and then rate it. That's where we have a lot of fun. It's the conversation part, not just our video. So we'll see you next week for the next video.